domestic now. Okay, you've earned 50,000 KD over the course of the year, and now you have an opportunity to spend it, and you've decided to buy goods and services. Now those goods and services that you buy, let's say you go to the Avenues or you go to any other kind of place that you would buy goods and services. Okay, you have a choice, either buying something that's produced domestically or it's been imported, right? So, if you're buying goods that are imported, what's happening there in terms of the income? You are basically buying goods that the goods and services that you buy that have been imported had to be purchased where? Outside the country, right? There had to be some sort of middleman, middle person who had to go to a bank and do what? Exchange Kuwait dinars for whatever the money was required to bring those goods over here, right? So if it's from the United States, it'd be dollars. If it was from Switzerland, it'd be Swiss francs. So what you have is you have this kind of very complicated procedure, right? Process, okay? Now, so when we talk about human development, okay, when we talk, countries are, at least the underlying logic is that we want countries to develop. When they develop, they earn money. The question now becomes, where does that money that is earned go? Is it distributed within society? Okay? That is, how many people in that society get a piece of the pie, get a piece of that income that's earned? All right? Now, the more money you get, okay, the logic is the better off you are because you have freedom to choose, right? All right? Now, if you recall, one of the things that we talked about 2 lectures ago, we talked about where's the basket of goods? Where is it? Yeah. Life expectancy, literacy, income, years of education, right? Well, if the economy is growing and you're getting the piece of the pie, right? That means what's happening to your income? It's going up, right? Now, the fact that you're earning income, the fact that you're participating in the economy, there's a reason for it. You have the skills, you have the labor. Why would someone be earning what's the difference between the guy who's out there in one of those yellow weird suits that they walk around and they sweep, right? Those guys, right? I mean, how much do those guys make a day? A month? Probably not too much, right? What's the difference between that guy and, say, someone who is going to work, and forget they're not Kuwait, let's say they're expats, both are expats. You have a guy wherever he's from versus another person who's working, let's say, for an investment company. What's the difference between the two? What differentiates the two? Education, right? The guy has a skill. He's an asset manager. He's a financial analyst. Okay? He's developed a skill that someone wants. And that business has decided that they're willing to pay him an amount of money, okay, that makes it worth their while. And he or she has decided that given all the opportunities that they have out there, he's going to work for them, right? The other gentleman, on the other hand, I mean, he's in a bit of a difficult situation. And he's not making that much money, right? Not enough money to do what? He probably lives in a room with maybe 6, 7 other guys. They probably share a bathroom, right? He's lucky if he's made enough money to have 2 meals a day. Okay, do you see? So the issue is income, education, also literacy. The ability to read affects your ability to get an education. Okay? This is the fact that each one in here speaks English, okay, is a valuable commodity, not because English is such a great language, but because at the moment, English is what? What French was over 100 years ago. The American passport is both in French and in English. Why? Because the language of diplomacy at the turn of the 20th century was what?
French.
Was French. Now it's English. Will it be English 100 years from now? I don't know. We don't know, right? Our grandkids will know, okay, but not us, all right? But the point is that the literacy is very, very important. So those countries that tend to be highly literate are in a position, okay, to benefit from to benefit from the potential of economic development. If I want to invest money into a country, do I want to invest money into a country where it has endogenous workforce that can read and write? Sure I do. I don't want to invest money into a country where the skill level isn't what it needs to be in order for me to produce the kind of goods and services I want to produce. Okay, life expectancy. There's clearly a relationship between more money, more education, and your life expectancy. Now, of course, life expectancy is constrained by your gene pool. Chances are you're going to follow the same path that your mother and father are following, right? Or let's say in case your great-grandparents. But the point here is your grandparents probably had a much harder life, okay, than you guys did, right? Because they lived in a world where maybe penicillin was what? A discovery, right? All right. Who in here has had a chest cold? Who's had bronchitis? Anybody here has had bronchitis? Guess what? 150 years ago, you would have been dead by now. Okay? You're not dead today because you have access to medication. Access to medication, okay, occurs in one or two ways. You live in a very affluent society. You have national health care. Everybody here has a national health care card, right? In addition to, you probably have medical coverage at a private hospital, which means you have access to what? Pretty much the state-of-the-art technology and medicine. What if you didn't have access to that? What would typically happen to you? Either you would survive, your body would fight off the infection, or you die. Okay? So the standard of living, okay, is very key here. All right? So the whole argument here is what's it going to take for economic development to occur. Now, the other thing which is very important here is just because you have economic growth doesn't mean you're going to have high standard of living across society. Now, what does that mean? Why is there no guarantee? I've just said you have economic development, 10% GDP growth,